the reason your life's not where you want it to be, or the reason you're behind, or you feel like you can't quite put things together in your own world is because of a reason that not a lot of people are talking about. And I'm just going to say it outright. It's because you have not yet learned to make decisions based on principle rather than impulse. So if that's all you needed to hear, you can click off the video, but I'm going to dive into this idea and how it's completely changed my life in my personal life, my relationships, my business. I'm not perfect at it. I'm still working on improving this practice in my life. But so many people, I've found that it's an amazing lens to view life through when you understand that you have a dual nature. There's the higher part of you, the spiritual part of you that has conscience, that makes decisions based on principle, that understands there's laws to the universe that you need to obey in order to have a good life. Then there's the other part of you, the natural part, the carnal, lustful, impulsive, childish part of you that wants things now, has no sense of patience or integrity, but just wants things. And the idea is not to suppress this part of you or ignore it because it's going to come back later with a vengeance. The idea is that this part of yourself, the natural part, needs to submit to the higher part. This is the part that sits in the throne, that is in charge, is the spiritual part of you. So in my life, whenever, especially when you're going through a tough time, like, I don't know, maybe you have a really bad day at work and then you're driving home and you get cut off on the highway, you get pissed off, and then you get home to find out that your roommates didn't do any of your dishes, and now you've got a plate, a sink full of dishes that smells, there's like some flies starting to collect, and then you get a text from, a friend canceling plans on you that night, so now you have nothing going on. A day that just doesn't go well, better than a lot of people's lives, if I'm being honest, so it's good to understand that your problems aren't that bad in relativity, but the only thing that's important to understand there is that you have to make decisions in those moments based on principle rather than impulse. So the impulse is to basically react in a negative way, maybe blame other people, maybe get frustrated, maybe give in to temptations that you're trying to overcome, maybe whatever it is, right? Do something that is the natural, carnal, impatient part of yourself taking control. But if you learn to discipline yourself, and especially in moments of opposition where things aren't going your way, allow the spiritual part of yourself to take the steering wheel and drive, choose the direction, make your decisions. Then you'll find that your life is brought into order a lot quicker that way when you learn to make decisions like that, when you learn to let the spiritual voice inside of you rule and take over. So it's been a principle in my life that I've learned over and over and over, and that I have to remember and be intentional about living each and every single day. Otherwise, I end up making poor decisions in my business. I end up making impulsive buying decisions. I end up allowing bad moments to dictate my feelings for the rest of the day. But instead of going down that hole every time something goes wrong, or every time I have a negative emotion, I choose to feed the part of my mind and my spirit that is more noble, that is higher, that is more of a king, rather than the part of me that is a slave to impulse, to temptation, to negative emotion. There's the parable of the two wolves, the white and the black wolf. Whichever one you feed more is going to get bigger. In this case, there's the duality of our nature. Whichever one you feed more and give power to more on a moment-by-moment basis every day, the more powerful either one will become based on which one you're feeding. And what does it mean to feed a certain part of yourself? Well, I think it's what thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. It's what it starts with your decision making. It's really easy to change maybe not easy, but it's a lot easier to change our behavior and our habits and our actions than it is our thoughts. So decide how you want to live. Decide what actions you want to take in your life, and then just do those. Just do them, and then the part then the mental side of it, the actual feelings and thoughts you have, will start to follow suit based on the actions that you're committing. This is a true principle that we don't wait to feel like doing something to do it. We do the action first based on what we sense is right, based on what our conscience is telling us. And then over time we begin to feel like doing that. And then there's a lot less friction in our lives because our minds and our actions are congruent. Because we've done the work and we've had enough courage to act in a way that deep down we know is right. And ultimately it becomes easier and easier. There's a lot less friction to do the right thing, to bring your life into order. And now all of a sudden you're not battling as much these terrible temptations and feelings and habits and thoughts anymore. But instead, this side of yourself that wants things now, that is lustful, that is natural and carnal, it submits to the higher version of yourself, the one that acts based on principle and not impulse. Act based on principle instead of impulse. And then things in your life will naturally fall into order. You'll feel the universe start to work for you rather than against you. This is a huge thing in my life, and it's been a major blessing, and it's been the secret to living a life that is fulfilling, meaningful, structured, even spontaneous at times, because I have the freedom to go do spontaneous things without it interrupting or disrupting the flow that I've built for my own personal life. So for more content like this that you can just listen to and learn about these true principles of leading an effective life, give a follow and contact me on social media to see if there's some way we can work together. Cheers.